What's up, Fragrant World? Welcome back to another Stay Fresh production. Okay, today I was gonna just make a list video, but I decided to do something a little bit more provocative. So you can tell by the title, I'm trying to get your attention. My main focus is to discuss some of my favorite fragrances marketed for women, but I decided to take the opportunity to open this up for discussion on this topic of gender in fragrances. So I wanted to pose the question, can men wear women's fragrances? Well, again, the title was kind of meant to lure you in because at least my short answer is yes. Anyone can wear anything. You wear whatever provokes feelings for you. It doesn't matter who it's intended for. Gender is a construct in the fragrance world and perhaps even in society in general, but that's a topic for another time. It's interesting, I actually have quite a few women who watch my videos and who comment on them, many of them asking for this list. So Ine Odu, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but this list is primarily spurred by you constantly asking me to do a list for women. You know, it's interesting. I have a lot of women who say that they wear men's fragrances, and you see it all the time. You see other reviewers out there who are women and they openly say like, yeah, I wear men's fragrances sometimes, or maybe I usually just wear men's fragrances over women's. So you have this very open crossover and it's very accepted, whereas for men it's not quite the same in terms of how it's viewed. Men, at least seen by other men, don't have the agency to wear female marketed fragrances and feel comfortable and not be ridiculed. And there seems to be a pretty distinct camp of men who are repulsed by the idea of other men wearing female marketed fragrances, because in society, however we decide to define masculinity, there's so many ways, but one thing that it doesn't include is smelling flowery or powdery or fresh and sweet and light, you know, the things that we associate with a feminine fragrance. Now, when we talk about what makes a scent feminine versus masculine, it's kind of silly. I mean, we're talking about raw materials in nature that naturally have an odor. We didn't make them. A lot of times we create compounds and chemicals intended to, you know, smell like things in nature, but these things were around before us, and they were definitely around before we started deciding what smells like a man versus a woman. So what's to say, what makes leather masculine? If you really think about it, you know, we associate, I guess, dark and, you know, even dirty sometimes, like those kind of not sweet, very dark, earthy, dirty scents with men, while we associate the opposite, fresh, floral, sweet, light, bubbly fragrances for women. Now, I know it's not like this everywhere in the world, but in many societies, and especially here in America where I am, this is the norm. This is how we see it. You know, the peony flower, a beautiful flower, one of my favorite floral scents, is seen as very feminine and is the centerpiece of a lot of feminine targeted fragrances. Whereas again, leather and patchouli and vetiver and oak moss, these things are typically more masculine. But in nature, there's nothing, if we're talking about like the sexual biology of these materials, there's nothing about patchouli you look at it like, yeah, this is masculine, totally. Look at this leaf. It's a leaf. And yeah, the scent has an earthy, kind of sometimes dirty nature to it, but that's not masculine. That's just the scent of the patchouli, and we came along and did our thing with it. So obviously, as you know, the mainstream fragrance industry ran with this idea of segregating how men and women are scented and scenting them in their own distinct ways, and that has an effect on us. And I, for one, attest to being affected by that. And I'm slowly breaking out of that mold. You know, the industry has been modeled around this, and it's not only just with fragrance. Now it affects how we are as people, how we identify ourselves in society, in a community. What is a man? What is a woman? It's not quite black and white. It's just not. And especially nowadays, the idea of feminine versus masculine it's not invalid. I'm not trying to say it doesn't have a place, but we have to acknowledge that it is completely arbitrary. The reason it is the way it is because it's the way it is. And because we said so, and because that's what we do. There's no better reason than that. So it's arbitrary. So enough blabbing. I want to go into the list now. I'm going to talk about 10 fragrances. Not all of them are marketed exclusively for women, but many of them are. A lot of these could be unisex, honestly. But again, bottom line is you wear whatever you want. But I just want to share with you fragrances that I think would smell really beautiful on a woman. Because again, women have been asking for this. So let's jump into it. And this is in no particular order. This first one up, this is a unisex scent, but many would say it's pretty feminine because it is heavily based around vanilla. But there's other elements to it that people would say kind of lean it back towards masculine territory, but I'm trying not to speak in those terms. Anyone could wear this, but I think this would smell beautiful on a woman, but I love to wear it too. This is Vanilla Vibes from Juliet Has a Gun. This is one of my favorite vanilla fragrances right now. I'm really looking forward to the upcoming spring and summer because that's where this shines. You could wear this to the beach, believe it or not, as a vanilla scent. You could wear it formally, you could wear it casually. It's kind of a versatile vanilla scent. It's fresh, it's kind of salty. It has this orchid, note in it, as well as that vanilla. It's beautiful. Yeah, I love this stuff. That is Vanilla Vibes. Up next, this is a fragrance from the house of Ex Idolo. This is my first fragrance I've experienced from this house, and wow, this is good stuff. Oh man, this is called Love and Crime. What this smells like is a fresh and spicy, creamy, like orange cake, but with like chocolate, like a chocolatey vanillic orange, but it has some spice to it. It's rich, it's deep as it dries. It's awesome. This is a beautiful gourmand lover's fragrance. This was actually sent to me by a company that I've talked about in the past called Scentcity, based out of the UK. If you saw my review of this fragrance, let me grab it. This is from the house of David Jocquin. This is called Cure Tabac. I love this stuff. If you missed the review, then make sure you check it out here. This is good stuff. I love this. And they sent me this as a part of one of their collections that they have. This is a relatively new company, and they have different collections that they are offering to the customer. So you can choose a group of, I think it's about 5 fragrances based on that collection. Now, these are heavily gendered, so this does kind of go against everything I've said. This particular collection, it comes from the Urbanite, which is like the main collection, I think, for more modern fragrances. And this is called the Miss Romance collection. It would come in this little pouch, and it basically just comes with 5 samples. And the samples it would come with in this particular collection right now are Love and Crime. It comes with this beautiful fragrance from David Jocquin called Cure de Rêve. I don't know how to say that. I apologize. Man, this is an awesome scent. This is perfumed by Cecile Zarokian, one of my favorite perfumers right now. It's sweet, it's leathery, it's powdery, it's rich. It's such a beautiful scent. It is marketed for women, and I think this would smell fantastic on a woman, but honestly, I would wear this. It's awesome. It's really, really elegant. And this one came with a few other fragrances. I'm not crazy about all of them. One from the house of Rance, I believe is what it's called, a French house. It's called Elise. And then another one from the house of Hayari Parfums in Paris. This is called Only for Her. Both of these are nice. They're both kind of floral based. This is kind of like a watery floral. This is kind of like a sweet, fresh floral. They're nice. Again, both feminine fragrances, if you want to call them that. And then they also sent over Teo Cabanel Early Roses, and I'm going to talk more about Teo Cabanel in a second because I have some good things to say. This is a beautiful rose scent. It's fresh and sweet. It's a little spicy. It's nice. It's not my favorite rose scent, but it is nice. Anyway, I'm going to link Scentcity down in the description. They call it the ultimate fragrance destination. Obviously you decide if that's the case, but they have some really cool collections. They're still building. I don't know if all the collections are available just yet, but they have a nice selection of fragrances that you really wouldn't find anywhere else, and they allow you to sample them in the form of the collection. And yeah, again, a great place to sample some fragrances you wouldn't normally find anywhere. They partner with certain houses that, again, are kind of exclusive, like David Jarquin. This is a hard house to get your hands on in terms of samples, but Scentcity is a great way to do it. These are high quality scents, especially from this house and from the others that they represent. So again, I will link them down in the description. From the house of Teo Cabanel, who I just mentioned, man, this stuff is blowing my mind. And this is yet another creation by Cecile Zarokian, who is an all-star in my opinion. This is called Cafe Cabanel. This is marketed for women, but good Lord, if you like just imagine this, a creamy and sweet, spicy chai latte with caramel, vanilla, but it dries down to a really sensual musk. Man, this is good stuff. Fantastic performance. Lasts all day and night on me. I love the bottle. It's like really hard, heavy metal cap. Man, this is awesome. There's another fragrance from this house that I really love. In fact, I have it here. It's called Alahim. This is technically marketed for women as well. A beautiful resinous fragrance. There's some ylang ylang in there, benzoin. It's so nice. And it's actually similar to another fragrance that they have that is actually probably my favorite one, called Barkane or Barkan. My gosh, that is a awesome resinous balsamic, very oriental, very just elegant fragrance. I had the sample somewhere, I can't find it, but I would hope to get a bottle of that someday. Man, that's a beautiful scent. This was sent to me by Teo Cabanel, and I love it, man. It's gorgeous. It's such a beautiful scent. I'm gonna link down below if you want to check this out. If you want to get a sample, you can check it out. It might even be on Scentcity, I'm not sure. I know Scentcity does have some Teo Cabanel as well, but this is awesome. Okay, we got a couple from the house of Raja Parfums. First one, I just have the Discovery Atomizers, nothing special here. But this is called, you're not gonna be able to read it, but it's called Risque Parfum. Wow, I have it on the strip here. This is the Chypre, which Raja loves. This is his favorite genre. He's made a ton of them. You got beautiful bright citruses up top. You have a lot of florals in the heart, and you have a nice woody oak moss in there. There's a pretty prominent note of chamomile in here, bergamot and lemon. There's some animalic nature. You got some hyacinth, some other florals in there. It's a very complex scent like he likes to do. It's interesting, you don't really see Chypre fragrances marketed for women all that much. It smells like a Chypre, but there is something distinctly feminine about it, at least in terms of the way that my mind and my nose detects feminine fragrances because of how I've grown up. But this is beautiful. This is elegance in the daytime. It's a parfum concentration. So this is one to check out for sure. Up next, this is called Sweet Tea Oud. And man, this stuff, I was really excited to get my nose on this. This is like walking into a bakery. This smells like fresh, warm, sweet, like blueberry bread, if you can imagine that. It's kind of unusual, but it's beautiful. I think this is also marketed for women, but I would wear it. But again, women, if you're looking for something from Raja to wear that's unique, but very elegant and beautiful, Sweetie Oud is awesome. This is a really nice scent. Okay, we got a few more. From the house of Bond Number 9, I actually just did a collaboration review with Chad from A Gentleman's Journey on this fragrance. This is called New York Nights. I just have a little sample of it here. And I'm not crazy about Bond. Their fragrances are strangely blended and sometimes just a little too synthetic for my nose, but they all smell good for the most part that I've smelled. This one is interesting. It's an interesting mix of accords. You have like an aquatic nature to it, you have like a gourmand nature to it, and then you have this floral nature all coming together to make this really interesting concoction. And many would say it leans feminine. I think it's technically unisex, but some places you look might market it as feminine. But it's nice. It's really kind of unique. I haven't smelled anything quite like this. I know Imitsu had said it smells similar to a Zara fragrance that he's checked out. I haven't smelled that one, but it's nice. I like it. And I think it would smell awesome on women. It's beautiful for like the springtime, I would say. That aquatic nature keeps it a little fresh, but it is quite sweet. And again, it's pretty floral. It's a nice scent. That's New York Nights. Okay, next up from Guerlain, from the Aqua Allegoria line, a beautiful scent for the spring and summer. Chamomile tea based fragrance. This is Sudha. I love this stuff, man. And it smells like sweet cotton. If that makes any sense. I think there's citruses in here. Again, there's chamomile. It's fresh. It has this cottony texture to it, but it is tea-like. Very, very beautiful casual fragrance to wear. I would love to smell this on a woman. This is beautiful. That's Sudha. And the last one up here, geez, thanks for bearing with me. If you're still here, you're a real one. This is one I've talked about a few times. From the house of Mancera, we have Instant Crush. This is, I think, technically unisex, but many have said it leans feminine. If you want to, talk about it in those terms. I've reviewed this, which you should watch here. Similar to Baccarat Rouge, but better, in my opinion. It's rich, has this deep vanilla, it has saffron, there's some jasmine in there. It's sweet, it's kind of strange. It's a strange scent profile if you're not familiar with this realm of scent profiles, but I think it smells fantastic on a woman, but I love wearing this. I love it. The performance is nuclear. It will last for months on your clothes if you leave it there, and it will last all day on your skin. This is good stuff. That is Instant Crush. So once again, check out Scentcity down in the description if you want to find some fragrances you wouldn't normally find elsewhere and get them in a nice sample pack so you can try a few and then decide on the one you want to get. I'll link Teo Cabanel down below, and again, I believe they do have a partnership with Scentcity anyway, so it's another great way to check out their fragrances as well. Let's have a discussion. I want to know what you think about gender and fragrances. Whatever opinion you have is valid. Let's talk about it. Just be nice. Don't put anybody down for thinking a certain way. Be respectful. And yeah, let's have a discussion. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.